want to welcome you to Mediation. Let's start off with some introductions. My name is Lauren Art. You can call me Lauren. And you are?
Linger.
Okay, and you are?
I'm Helena.
Okay, and is it okay if I call you Helena and Twos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Well, I just want to let you know that I'm qualified to mediate this dispute today under Minnesota Rule 114. That makes me a qualified neutral, so I just want you to be aware that I am here just as a neutral third party. I've been doing this for several years now, so I have a lot of experience mediating disputes. I'm not familiar with what brings you guys here quite yet, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And you guys have both seen the agreement to mediate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to have you sign that, so we both can just have it on one sheet of paper. Great. Okay, thank you. And even though you've already gone over the agreement to mediate, I just want to go over what mediation is and the process in general. So it's really just a conversation for you two to have. I understand that you are probably you're trying to avoid going to court or in a legal dispute, and mediation can help settle that out of court. So a lot of people like that, so to avoid being involved in court. This is really a conversation just between the two of you. You can talk about whatever you want to. This is really here to help steer you towards any resolutions you might come up with. And it's important that you just listen to each other, maybe approach the process with an open mind, see if you can understand what the other party is saying, and try just to open up and really hear what the other person is telling you. I'm not going to lay any ground rules per se, but I am going to give you each a piece of paper. This is so you can take notes. I'm not going to tell you can't interrupt each other, but I'll let you know that mediation works the best when the parties are being respectful of one another, and so interrupting can lose focus or make the other person upset. So we're going to try to write, if you want to, you can try to write your thoughts down and then bring it up when it's when the other person is done talking, so you don't forget that thought. I'm not going to tell you have to, but it is really works best if you respect one another and really try to come from a place of understanding rather than just the frustration that you probably have entered this dispute in. I just want to remind you that I am neutral here. I'm not either of your attorneys. I am not here to give any legal advice. I'm not here to choose sides. I'm just here to help you steer the conversation in ways that you might think is beneficial for the both of you. This is the time where you two can decide if you have any ground rules you want to set between the two of you, or if you just want to go play it by ear.
I don't have any suggestions.
No, I think we'll be
okay. Okay, great. I'm just going to let you know that I will also be taking notes. That's not to say I'm not listening. Every once in a while I might stop you just to make sure my notes are correct, or if I have a clarifying question, I just want you to know that that's what I'll be doing. There might be a time during mediation today where we're kind of seem like we're at a standstill. Maybe you're frustrated or angry with one another, and during that time I might call for us to meet independently, so one-on-one with Twos and then one-on-one with Helena, or vice versa. We'll see how that would work best when it comes. You guys can also feel free to ask for an individual meeting if I haven't called one, so I just want you to know that that's an option for you. It's important that you feel comfortable, so if you need to stop at any time to get something to drink or use the restroom, which is just out the hall and around the corner, just let me know and we can definitely take a pause from the mediation, or even if you just need to stop to think for a while. If at any point during mediation you feel uncomfortable and you're not happy with the process and you don't think that this is going to work for you, feel free to let me know that you want to stop. And either we can decide that the process is over for good and you'll just continue through the legal system, or we can reschedule another meeting if you think that would be beneficial. So I also want you to know that mediation is a confidential and voluntary process. So the voluntary part obviously comes to any time you want to stop. I'm not going to make you stay. And I want you to know that I'm not going to divulge anything that was said here if you do go to court. So anything that is said here will stay between us unless there's illegal activities or ethical abuses, that type of thing. Then the court may have me testify. Do you guys have any questions about the process or anything at all?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, great. Well, normally we start with the party who brought the complaint. So, which one of that is?
It would be me.
You? Okay, so you can start and tell me what brings you guys to mediation today.
Okay. So I'm the manager for Green Giant Country Club. And we're the plaintiffs, so we brought the case in. The problem is a contract issue where Linger is a member of our country club. He signed to be a member in March, where we agreed on some terms. One is that there's a one-time fee of $3,500.
A one-time fee?
A one-time fee,
okay.
Just a membership payment, and then there's a monthly fee for $220 for dues. One thing that has been an issue is that we've always in our country club had we've allowed our members to not having to use like a rental cart that takes you down the golf courts. And that has been a hot selling point for us, and that's also what I informed Linger or Tooth when he became a member. But then the board changed this quite quickly after he became a member, that we now require the members to use this car on the field.
So before it wasn't required to use?
Before, when he became a member, it wasn't required, but then it was.
Is there an extra fee associated with using it?
Yes, there's some fees. I think I don't know how much it is per time. But yeah, that's something that has been added. The board found that necessary to add.
Okay.
So yeah, there were some incidents where Linger, I don't know if he wasn't aware that we had this new requirement, but he had some incidents with our staff, supposedly speaking to him in a rough tone that he needed to get a cart, or rental cart. And we spoke about it. He called me in June and said that, well, this is not what I agreed to. And I apologized if our staff were rude, but I have to stand behind the staff's, commitment to enforcing our new policy. So yeah, and in August I received a letter about Linger wanting to close out his account and his membership. I didn't actually get this letter. It got lost in my mailbox, so I did not see this letter. So it ended up being us taking contact in February and sending him a letter with demanding payment for the months that he did not pay. So that was from August until February. So when he didn't respond in February, in March we went to court with a small claims lawsuit.
For the payment for the months between August and February? Yeah,
that, and also there's in the agreement, in the contract we signed, it also says that we can charge late fees if the monthly fee is not paid. And also there were some club charges of food and car rental that has not been paid. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a total figure for how much is owed?
So it's split up. For the 8 months, 8 months of dues. Those are $220 per month. So that's a total of $1,760. You can just hear the numbers there. Okay. So the late fees are $176. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then the club charges are $350.
Okay.
So that's a total amount of $2,286.
$2,286.
And then also there are the claim includes court costs of $175.
Okay.
Just let me know if you need to clarify those numbers.
175 for court costs?
Yeah.
Is that included in the 2,000?
No.
Okay, so in addition.
It's 2,461.
Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing. Now, Twos, if you would like to tell your version of events.
Yeah, so basically it's what Helena said there. I mean, it was a big selling point about this country club is that they didn't require me to use a golf cart. I mean, I enjoy golfing. I'm an enthusiast, and I also enjoy being out in nature, walking along the course to get from hole to hole or to get to my ball. And that was very important to me. And that was the primary reason I chose Green Giant as a country club to go to, because it was one of the few, if not the only country club that didn't require you to use golf carts. So I joined in March, and then, like she said, a couple months later, they changed the policy. So practically the only reason I decided to go to that club was erased. And then, fine, they've changed the policy. I'm not very happy with it. But to compound on that, I took some clients out there, right? Some real estate agents. I took some clients out there, talked to them a little bit. I get out there, and their staff starts yelling at me, my second group of clients. They're being rude. They demanded that I rent a cart and that we're holding up the whole golf course. And I was really upset about that. And on top of that, that client I had that day with me no longer accepts my calls. And that was a very important client to me.
Okay.
And also, the letter I sent, how could you possibly just lose it in the mail? I mean, that resulted in, 8 months you said, but it's actually 7 if you could count. So it's 7 months that shouldn't have been charged because I was not a member. I never came in after I sent my letter. So in my mind, you didn't provide me any service, so how could you possibly be billing me for a membership I wasn't using, which I canceled, and for late fees for a membership I don't have?
What is the club's general policy for canceling memberships, Helena?
I think they're like regular. I do think that the one-time fee, that is a one-time fee that you don't get refunded if you choose to not continue your membership. But as far as like if there's a number of months you have to pay, I'm not sure.
Okay, so had the letter been received, Twos' cancellation would have been effective upon that date?
I have to assume that.
Yes. Okay. And what charges are you contesting exactly, Twos?
The 7 months.
Okay, so
they said 8, 7.
So you don't have a problem with the
and
first,
the late fees.
The first time fee, the $3,000.
I do want that back because, and I filed a counterclaim against Green Giant because the reason I chose that club was I didn't have to rent a golf cart. So in my mind, they've canceled the reason why I wanted to be there, so I should get my membership back.
Okay, and Helena, what were the reasons why do you know why the policy changed at all?
I don't. It was the board's decision, and I don't have any influence on that. The only thing I know is that I have to respect that decision, and there's nothing I really can do about that.
Okay.
It's out of my hands.
Let's see. Have you received any general feedback from the rest of your members about the change in policy?
No, I haven't. I think that most of our members use the cards, but I haven't gotten any big amount of complaints.
Okay. So, Twos, what's really important to you is that you lost a big client because of how you were treated at the golf course, you think?
Yeah.
And this client obviously is no longer returning your calls, you don't think you should have to pay the 7 months or the late fees, and you'd like the one-time payment back because the policy changed without. Was there any warning given in regards to the
No, and
policy
it
changing?
happened really quickly, and I was not aware of that either. So I would had I known, I would never have made that such a high selling point at that time. And I'm really sorry about that. I was not aware of that was going to happen. I did not get any warning. So of course, had I known, that wouldn't have been my selling point.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's maybe try to discuss this with one another. What do you want to see happen?
I want to see happen that we get our money, basically. Yeah, he's been a member, and especially the months that he was an active member is something you of course have to pay for. So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, those amounts are paid for. Like, I paid for my monthly fees until I quit your membership.
Yeah, but you also want the one-time fee back, but you have been an active member.
You didn't provide me the service that you promised to give me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Choose. How do you feel about what do you think would be reasonable, since you did use the club for some amount of time? Maybe not the entire fee being returned, but is there maybe a portion of the one-time fee?
Maybe that. Maybe I could take back a portion of my one-time fee, but I'm not going to pay the 7 months that I didn't use my membership, because I had canceled it. It's not my fault. You guys are unorganized and lost the mail. And I concede, yeah, I had club charges for food and cart rentals for $350. Yeah, I'll pay that. I mean, I sent you in that letter, which apparently you never saw because you lost it. I asked for my final bill, expecting that it would be my
Well, you didn't
my club
receive
charges.
that, didn't you? Like, catch on to that something was wrong and that there might have been a mistake in delivery?
Well, it's still your mistake, not mine.
Well, the postman's mistake, maybe. I never got it in my mailbox, so, you know, who's to blame there? I can't really tell, but I think when you expect to get a final bill and you don't get it, there should ring some bells that something is up. And so
maybe if I didn't pay my fees for 7 months, maybe you should have approached me.
Mm-hmm.
That's your stance on it then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's your point of view.
What do you think would be reasonable, Helena? If he wasn't using the club for 7 months and he did attempt to cancel, even though you did not receive the letter, is there maybe somewhere in between you would be willing to look at a figure that's not for the full amount, but perhaps a partial amount? Maybe we can go from there and see.
Yeah, as no one is to blame for the letter not being where it should be in my hands. Of course, I think it's a little harsh to expect the full payment of $2,461, but it's not my authority to leverage this at all. I'm just the messenger, really. It's not my decision, because when we get new members, we kind of make a budget according to that. So, and it is a 1-year contract, so we kind of budget according to the 1 year. So yeah.
Are you here with full power to settle at the end of today, if that comes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, Twos, what do you think?
I think I should get at least part of my membership fee back, because you promised me something and you took it away almost immediately after I arrived at the country club. And during the peaks part of the season. I mean, it was in May that you changed your policy? Or June, actually. So right deep into the golf season.
Well, I can't agree with you. You were still allowed to use the golf
for 4 months.
You were able to use it as much as you wanted. You just had to rent a cart to use it. So, or you didn't pay.
Yeah, but that's not what you said when I signed up for my membership.
I understand that. Yeah, but did you pay $35,000 to not have to use a cart?
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of other golf courses in the area, and the reason I chose yours is because I didn't have to rent a golf cart. That was the primary reason.
Okay, I think I'm going to meet with you individually right now. Okay, and I'm going to meet with Helena first, since you're the one that brought the complaint. And two is I'm just going to have you sit outside for maybe 10 minutes, and I'll come and get you. While you're outside, I just want you to think about different ways that this could be settled. Like maybe not what you would think is ideal, but I just want you to think about if you were watching this dispute from a completely different perspective, the different ways you could see it ending. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring this chair outside for you to sit in. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I already brought it out. Okay, I'll come back to get you soon, Juice. Okay, Helena. So I just want you to know that our meeting right now is going to be confidential between the two of us. When I meet with Twos after this, I'm not going to tell him anything that you told me unless you give me permission. Okay, so I just want you to know, or I just want to know from you how you think it's going and what you think is reasonable. Like anything that maybe you're not comfortable talking about in front of Twos, you can talk about in front of me.
So I think this is kind of hard because I do see his points. It was a selling point that he was able to not use the cards while golfing, but still I have no discretion to say that okay, that's fine, you can have that back. The board of directors sent me here and they've given me specific instructions that I cannot go under our demand of $2,000. So, or I have to have a good reason to do so. So, I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do.
Well, what do you think? Maybe let's talk about what you think that they might think is a good reason. Are they aware of the situation about Twos' cancellation? Maybe they would think that that misunderstanding is good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And also, I think that the information I've gotten about the contract is so limited. So I don't have the legal information of the terms of ending the membership, but it's kind of confusing.
From your perspective, though, if you had received the letter, it would have been an effective end of the membership from your understanding of it right now. Okay, so I think we can see why Twos was frustrated, that he thinks that he didn't do anything wrong on his end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I understand why your club thinks they thought that they had a member those 7 months and that they should be paid for the services they thought they were providing. So I understand the tight spot that you're in. I know that it was not your fault nor Twos' fault that the letter wasn't delivered. So what do you think what are some options you think about ending this? So he's frustrated that some of the services that he was promised, namely the golf cart use, was restricted, and he doesn't think he should have to pay the full price. Is there an amount that you think you would be willing to come down on the $3,500 that he paid? Maybe return part of it to him?
Yeah, I guess. I think it's kind of I don't think we're going back to him staying a member at our facility, and also I know that the policy is policy and we can't accept him not using a golf cart. So that's that. But
yeah, he hasn't said that he wanted to stay a member, so I think that you might be seeing each other eye to eye there, that he won't be a member any longer after this.
But I don't know. I feel like if I let him have some of this one-time membership payment back, that it will backfire me, because it was my me making it a selling point that he would get the not using the card. So
you're worried about professional, like being
from
punished
the board.
at work.
Yeah, since I have gotten
But you said before it was the policy to use it as a selling point, right?
It is a hot selling point in general, so I guess that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't sound like you did anything inappropriate with using that as a selling point, and you weren't aware that the policy would be changing. You know, maybe if you had known and continued to use it as a selling point, that would have been inappropriate. But it doesn't sound like you acted inappropriately in that regard.
Yeah. So I guess I would be willing to reduce, but I'm not. Since they've given me the clear instruction that I should not go below $2,000 in our demands. I'm not sure how that would end up with me reducing his claim for his money back. So
you said without good cause, though, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a way that we can present it, or you could present it to the board, showing that it was good cause.
Yeah.
That he genuinely didn't think he was a member anymore, and
it's just that I've already turned in the matter of the payments we're expecting from him to the credit bureau, so it'll be like a tough stretch to change that now. The club kind of needs all revenues to meet its expenses. So,
is there anywhere else? Because it's not terribly much money, $2,000. Is there anywhere else that maybe the club could pull back some of their expenses? Because if it's only $2,000, you could probably just find somewhere to cut $50 a week for a short amount of time.
I don't know. That's kind of the board's area. I'm not really given any discretion to do that, and I know they expect me to collect fully on this contract. They kind of see it as an easy matter, but as I see his point, I think it's a hard thing to be in this situation, because
maybe as a part of this mediation, we could come up at the end with a way you could present, you and twos, and I could help at the end, a way to present it to the board that this is a good cause for having it below $2,000. Maybe there's a way we could help you with that.
I guess if I really want to know whether he has talked with any other members about canceling their memberships, because that's kind of important to me that this doesn't expand.
Oh, sure.
Our reputation is intact. So if that turns out to be, or at least if it turns out that he has, but if he can fix that, then sure, that would probably help too.
Yeah, sure. We can think. Is it okay if I ask him that question when I'm in caucus with him? I won't say. I can pose it in a way that doesn't say that you're worried about it necessarily. Just asking him generally if he's talked to any other members about it. Okay.
So now you know my bottom line, but is there, because he's counterclaiming for 4,380, so there's not a lot of, I don't know, I just think this is really hard to do the numbers here, are really confusing me.
Sure. I think that you and twos will be able to work together and find an agreement, as long as you're both hearing each other and really coming at each other from a place of understanding. And I think you two have made a lot of progress so far today. And I think that this individual meeting has been really helpful, and I'm glad that you agreed to meet with me. But now I'm going to go get twos and have you sit outside, okay? And I'm going to have you think about the same thing that I had twos think about, like various ways that this could end. You can see it ending. Yeah. Have a seat here. Twos, you can come back. Come on in, and I'll get back to you in about 10 minutes. Okay, twos. Did you think about anything when you were out there that you think is helpful for mediation today?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have a solution that would work.
Okay.
I think if she were just to give me $1,000 back from my counterclaim, my fee plus the 4 months that I did pay, and then she dismisses her claim, and I'll dismiss mine, and that'll be the end of it.
Okay, so you want $1,000 total.
Because the difference between her claim and my claim is $1,919. So I'll just take 1,000.
So you kind of then like meet in the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see when she comes back in if that's something that she's agreeable to.
What did you guys talk
We just talked about her feelings about how mediation's going. I can't talk about anything too specific because these individual meetings are also confidential.
Okay.
So I think that once we get back together, they'll probably talk about what we both talk about independently of each other. But I kind of want to focus on you during our caucus, our individual meeting. So I know that you lost a client for this, and I assume that that's a really big deal for you.
Yeah, and if she doesn't want to settle today, then I'm considering on putting out that lost revenue because it was an apartment complex. I'm a real estate agent, and this person owns apartments. If she doesn't want to settle this today, then I'll tack on my lost revenue.
Okay.
From losing Melissa, who was a person with me at the country club.
Okay, I think when she comes back in, we should maybe talk about that because that might be a good motivation for both of you to get this done today, so neither of you have to go to court or no one loses more money than they are already, I suppose. So you have your lost revenue. When you found out about the changed policy, did you hear from any other members that were upset about the change?
Not really talked to other members, but this was really important to me, so I don't really care about what other members think. This was important.
Sure. So you're not. Yeah, you don't talk to really any other members of the club.
Well, I have talked to some of them after this happened because of the way I've been treated.
Sure.
I was promised something at the beginning. It was taken away from me, and then I was treated very poorly by her staff, and she doesn't even acknowledge that they did it. She won't even say it. She'll say, I apologize if it happened, but she doesn't even think it happened.
Okay, so is receiving an apology from her really important to you today?
No, I don't even really care about that.
No.
Because the way she's already treated me this far, promised, they took it away, their staff was crap to me, and then they don't respond to my letter canceling my membership, and then they have the gall to sue me months later.
Sure. Let's see. Do you maybe? If the letter was lost, which I think that she never saw the letter. She says she never got it in her mailbox.
That's rather convenient.
It might be, but let's just assume that it's the truth for now. It's difficult for their business as well, so I don't think that she's out to get money that they don't feel like they're owed. So I think that they are just trying to figure out how the mishap happened and how to avoid that from happening again in the future, because it is very unfortunate that they think it's unfortunate what happened. Do you have any other feelings about how mediation's going today? Anything else you want to share with me while we're alone without Helena?
No, I just don't think she's very willing to work. She seems to understand what I'm trying to say, but she doesn't seem to act on it.
Okay. Maybe we'll bring her back in the room and we can meet with some of those differences. She might be having other pressures too where she's a little hesitant. So we'll see if maybe we can come eye to eye on this a little bit more. Okay, do you want to come back in? Okay. So Twos, when he was in his sitting outside by himself, thought about some solutions. Did you think about anything?
I tried to, yeah, but as we spoke about, I don't think it's very much that I can do.
Okay. Do you want to explain to Twos this part of it that you haven't said to him?
No.
No? Okay. I think it would be beneficial for us to move along. We're at a bit of a standstill right here. Choose, do you want to talk about what you've said?
Yeah. So, if you want to settle this today, my offer is that you pay me $1,000 and we'll both dismiss our claims. And that'll be the end of it.
And what was the other part of it about your client? You lost.
That'll be gone too.
But do you want to? But that's not up yet, is it?
No, I mean, here's the scenario, right? Either we can settle this today, you pay me $1,000, and then your claim goes away, my claim will go away. But if it doesn't get settled, then I feel because I lost a client, Melissa Rowe, she's a manager for an apartment complex and a real estate agent, so we're deeply connected. She was a huge client of mine. Now she won't return any of my calls. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the way your staff treated us. If this doesn't get settled today, I'm going to consider adding on that lost revenue from the way your staff treated us into my claim. And I haven't even looked at what the numbers are going to be.
Okay. Well, I have clear instructions that I can't go below a certain number, and
Okay, what's the number?
so we have to, or I have clear instructions to not go below $2,000 in collecting.
$2,000.
So yeah, I see that we're kind of on different sides here.
Okay, did the board, okay, so as it stands right now, you are not meeting eye to eye. If Choose was to sue the country club for the lost revenue, that might be a lot more that the board would lose, and the board might consider that in settling today to avoid that.
Yeah, but how can you prove that that's the reason why she's not contacting you?
She can testify in court.
Yeah, she can. I don't think she'll get.
And she'll say, well, it's because the staff.
So you haven't even spoken to her, so how can you know?
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, one day we were golfing, and then the other day the next day she wouldn't return any of my calls. Mm-hmm. Seems pretty clear to me.
I think it's maybe a risk that you would have to weigh, both of you being confident to take it to trial, and you being willing to take it to trial. And if the board do you think the board would be willing to take it to trial, or would they rather avoid a potentially larger lawsuit? And would you rather maybe settle for a little bit less than you would say, or spend the money to go to trial? I think it's just.
I'd like to settle today, and my numbers seem far more reasonable. What you're asking for? You're asking to keep $3,500 in my membership fee, plus the $880 I already paid for those 4 months, plus 7 months that I didn't even use the golf course. So essentially, you want me to pay about $6,500 for 4 months of golfing? That's pretty steep.
Mm-hmm. But that was also clear. The one-time fee was also pretty clear in the contract. That was one-time fee.
Pretty clear to me that I didn't have to rent a golf course, and that was your policy. But that changed it.
Yeah, policy changes.
So if the policy changes, I think your policy about the membership fee
that's
changed
not
too.
In the contract, though.
It was a part of the deal.
Well, it wasn't in the contract that you would be. It's a policy, but it was not a promise to you that would stay for your entire membership. So I disagree. But I want to settle today too. But as I said, I have clear instructions. So walking away here today, owing money doesn't really sound like something they would accept.
What do you think they would accept then?
Maybe half the amount we're asking. $1,000.
So you both mentioned something to me in caucus that we've not talked about yet, and I think that it would be important to bring up now, which is I can't bring it up if you don't want me to.
Go ahead.
Is it okay to bring it up about?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So it's the membership of others. So is it important? What Twos has said was that since the incident, he has been talking to other members about his unhappiness. And you've mentioned that it would be important for the club to not lose members. So maybe this is a discussion we can have now. Because the club wouldn't want to lose more revenue from the members leaving from Twos' discussions with them. But
yeah, I would love to know some more about that. How many are we talking about?
You know, I can't remember, but I did talk to quite a few other members about, you know, how you've been treating me and how your staff have treated me and my guests. So it's really not surprising that they would leave too.
Well, we're known for having user-friendly staff, so I mean, I apologize, and I have apologized to you for that, but it's not usual behavior for staff. So yeah, I don't know. But of course, that has a value.
Yeah. So you said your offer would be for 1,000, and I'm sitting at 1,000 as well. Well, there's a big gap.
It is a very big gap. I'm not happy about going under $1,000, being that I have so clear instructions. But of course, if I got to explain to them the reasoning, they'll probably let me accept nothing. You know, that you owe us nothing, I guess. So that's deleting the whole claim. Basically.
So that would be, there's no late charges, no, none of the 7 months that he wasn't a member. And then if we took away no club charges for the food and cart, maybe that can go towards the partial bit of your membership that you want them to refund you for. So you pay them nothing, and then in exchange, part of that nothing would be you not paying them for the things you did use, and then that comes out of the partial part of your one-time payment of the $3,500. I think if I'm understanding correctly.
Okay, I get
what I just want to say that I really understand where you're coming from, and if it was up to me, I wouldn't. This would be a settled matter, but I'm not the one in charge. I have a board of directors that have given me very clear instructions, and there's nothing saying that policies can be changed in the contract.
So what's your position right now? You're willing to take nothing, and I'll take nothing, and you'll end it there?
Yeah, both. Both not going to court, basically. Both end our claims, I guess.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll be okay with that then.
You would?
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe draft up an agreement quickly about this?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the terms again. So you dismiss your claim for, the 7 months, even though you have 8.
Yeah, that's a mistake. We can agree that that's 7. That's a typo.
So you'll dismiss your claim on that, plus the late fees and the club charges. And I just dismiss my claim about my membership fees and the 4 months that I was there.
And then would you agree to not file for the lost income?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that's kind of important to me, not losing the existing members that we do have that you have spoken to. Would you be willing to say, hey, don't they're nice people, don't end your membership?
I'm willing to stop telling them to not end their membership, but I mean, what I told them was the truth. And I can't go back and say that. I can't lie to them and say, no, they weren't actually rude staff to me, and no, they didn't try to.
Would you be willing to go back and say that we were flexible in resolving the matter?
I could go back and say that we resolved the matter.
They were willing to work with you outside of court, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe we can write that up. So the claim of...
I think it's easier to say both of us will dismiss all of our claims.
Yeah, both choose Helena. And what's the name of your golf course, Helena?
Green Giant Country Club.
Okay.
GGCC.
And choose, you will not file a claim for loss of income?
No.
Are you agreeing that your relationship will be severed from this point? You will not try to be a member?
No.
You would not? Okay. And choose will tell the members that you resolve the matter outside of court.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
That he won't speak badly of us in the future.
Do you agree to that, Choose?
Sure.
Anything else?
Nope.
No.
Okay, then I'm gonna have you guys look over this. Okay, and if you guys want to sign it, this is your agreement then. All right, great. I'm glad you guys chose mediation today, and I'm glad we could get this resolved for you.
Thank you for helping us.
Stop.